Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much. I received the Sierra Club endorsement recently, which I was very proud of. In light of the fact that I voted no on the cap and trade bill, I think that was pretty significant because it sort of shows the balance that I think is important, and I think we definitely need a balance. But when we talk about hydraulic fracking, there were some real problems with the DEC EIS, with the environmental impact statement. Three things in particular. One, they failed to address the geology of our region that is very unique. Two, how many wells are they going to allow on a particular acre of land or a particular square mile? That's pretty critical. And three, what are we going to do with the fracking fluids? I mean, we have water systems that can't handle it. We have water systems that don't have the capacity to handle it. These things need to be resolved before we move forward with any fracking in this state. So we need that resolved first and foremost, and I went down to Binghamton to talk about that at the EPA study because it's critical. But let's talk about energy. I'm on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. One of the things that we focus on all the time is conservation. How can we save energy? Because all of the strategies that we talk about are great, but the very best strategy to improve is conservation. We talk about rail. You hear me talk about high-speed rail all the time. It's not really high-speed rail. It's really more speed rail, more reliable rail, which is what we have, which is what the programs that we have been working on will do. And it will take some of the trucks off of the road. I mean, think about how many trucks you have come through here. Then what do? They go off of the toll roads because they get expensive and they go onto the local roads. Well, think about that. That passes the cost on to the localities that have to fix the roads. We need to get some of those trucks on rail. So we need to improve our rail system. That'll also save huge amounts of gas. I mean, these are the kind of things that are practical that we can talk about, that we can agree on. These are the kind of things that I work on because it's about solutions. It's not about just pointing your finger at problems. We all know the problems. It's about solutions.
Time is up. The next question.
We have another answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm good if you know. I have come out, substantially against the fracking process, not because I don't sympathize with the landowners and farmers, and not because I don't understand that high taxes and everything that's going into the destruction of this community makes people look at natural gas and say it is an opportunity that we can't pass up. But the other opportunity that we can't pass up, and that is more important over time, is the one to protect our environment. What concerns me deeply is the law of unintended consequences. That so many times in my business career I have seen things. I was taking fuel tanks out of the ground, putting fuel tanks in the ground in the 80s, and taking them out in the 90s. And what I know about human nature is that greed has a tendency to clog and cloud our vision. So I think that we should focus on finding technologically safe ways to access gas. I think, of course, we all know that there's gas coming out of the ground now in New York State without the need for fracking. I am uncomfortable with it, and I would not support it, and I've said that many times. I would, however, work diligently to find other ways to help people in distress, help people access the resource which I believe they have every right to access as best as possible. I'd also like to point out that Mr. Arcuri says he voted against cap and trade, but you should know that he voted for it in committee numerous times, over 10. So there's an example. And the other thing I'd like to point out is that everything that we hear today has some government solution. Some government solution which incidentally requires you to pay in and you to subsidize. In high-speed rail, whether you like it or not, we have to understand that it is the gift that eats. That the story of this country right now is debt, and that it's easy to add more and more and more debt. It's easy to find clever and smart and even good ways to spend our money. But we are mortgaging our children's future, and I think that high-speed rail for New York State is something that needs to be looked at much more seriously than with some.
Thank you.
Thank you.